Hello, my name is Brittany, and today I'll be demonstrating a SDAIE strategy. The strategy that I'm going to be demonstrating are think, pair, shares. For background context, the lesson plan itself is aimed towards 9th grade students, and it pertains to earth science. The topic of the lesson will be paper recycling. The content objectives, students will be able to describe and demonstrate how paper is recycled, and then analyze the advantages and disadvantages of this process. For language objectives, students will be able to listen to oral information, engage in oral discussion, and then write about recycling. Now, think, pair, shares as a SDAIE strategy are a wonderful way of engaging English language learners because it allows for engagement with the topic before you start reading or doing your main activity. They can activate their prior knowledge on the topic. For instance, they can think about how they personally use recycling in their lives or what they know about recycling in general. They're able to collaborate with peers and interact, exchange information through discussion and cooperation. And probably the best aspect of Think, Pair, Shares is that it activates all forms of language. For instance, they're able to write about their topics during the thinking part of the strategy. They read their own responses. They listen to their partner and how they describe the strategies, and then they're able to discuss verbally their own ideas. So I will be demonstrating that strategy for you today, and we'll see how it goes. All right, everyone, we have covered a lot of great information about how we use recycling at home, and we have started to discuss the differences between upcycling, turning something old into something new, usable, and valuable, versus downcycling, something that degrades or is of a lesser quality than it was before it was recycled. So now we're going to break up into think, pair, share groups. Now we all remember how think, pair, share groups form? No, we need a reminder? Okay, so as we know, think, pair, share groups start with 3 segments. The first one is our thinking session, and that's when we sit down and we think about our topic, what we know about it, what our thoughts about it, what we want to learn about it. It's all about getting your thoughts down onto paper. So let's say if I am learning about our recycling, I know that we recycle paper, and I think it's downcycling. Other classrooms are noisy today, aren't they? Because, and then you just finish out your thought. Our second term is we start forming our pairs. So let's say I form a pair with, again, noisy classrooms. I form a pair with our classmate Giovanni, and we get together and we start brainstorming our ideas, start thinking about them. And then we move on to the share part of Think, Pair, Shares, and that's when we discuss our topics. So let's say I think it's downcycling, but Giovanni over there, he thinks it's upcycling. So we're going to discuss why we have those different perspectives. So as we break up into our Think, Pair, Shares, I want you to start and think about first whether recycling paper is going to be downcycling or whether this final product you think is going to be upcycling. So let's all form our groups, think together, and start from there. Okay, Alice, we've thought about our topics and we've written about them. Now we're going to start talking about them, right? So I guess I'll start. I think that recycling paper is upcycling because we're turning paper that we've used, gross, like my old notes here, and we're turning it into new paper, and so that must mean it's more valuable, right? I think you're right about it becoming more valuable, but aren't we taking old paper and like all the little bits and crumbs we don't want, and we're mushing it together and flattening it out and making a new piece of paper? That kind of sounds like it would be downcycling, right? It's not the same quality. It's kind of gross, don't you think? Oh yeah, well, I guess that would be true. I mean, we are taking a bunch of gross paper and putting it together. You might be right. I think it's downcycling. So I guess we'll see how it goes when we start making our own paper. All right, everyone, we've spent a couple minutes thinking, pairing, and sharing. So now let's talk about some of our ideas that we've come up with. Alice and Sarah, did you come up with anything interesting in your group? Oh, so you guys think it's downcycling because you're putting papers together and it's gross? Yeah, yeah. I mean, we are taking a bunch of small pieces of paper, and all those little papers, they may not come together as nice as, say, a new piece of paper. What about you, Giovanni? What did you and your group come up with? Oh, you think it's upcycling because it's new paper. Well, all of you have great ideas, and we will start exploring more of those as we get into the lab and start recycling our own paper. So get ready, find all your new papers that you want to start recycling, and let's get to it.